One final question, Siddharth. Normally, if we look at legally, if I've given you, or you've given me money and I haven't paid you, there should be a legal recourse.
Correct.
Right? While for the bigger value loans, the corporate loans,
Correct.
we've had this one.
You got agency, you got arbitration, you got all these aspects.
Right?
Correct.
But the whole reason recovery agents or debt collection in a coercive manner happened because the legal process where if I am a lender, you haven't paid me, I should be able to go and register a complaint against you and recover the money. But a civil dispute in our country can take more than 20 years.
Correct.
And therefore, you can't as a bank or as a lender wait for 20 years and pay the legal fees
Absolutely.
to fight a case like that. And we keep reading every day, right? Some 100 rupees case, 50 years,
Correct.
60 years.
Correct.
So you're more better off just writing it off.
Absolutely.
Which doesn't create a good credit culture in the country. But you mentioned earlier about settle. So, just like we find in the corporate side also, there is an arbitration
Yes.
or a settlement where two sides sit at the table and say, okay, fine, let's settle it this way. Is that something that can be done? What are your thoughts?
So, this is where, if you look at our journey, where we kind of evolved the platform, we were purely a collection platform. When we started off, we were purely a collection platform, which means money is due, pay the money. Simple as that. It's called the soft bucket, okay, which is less than 60 days odd kind of a thing. After that comes a hard bucket, which is where the bank is at the risk of this becoming a non-performing asset. Again, there are very tight norms. No bank wants an NPA. Okay, so at a later stage, though it should not create a bad culture, but at a later stage, it is preferable for the bank to settle it rather than go legal. Especially in a unsecured scenario where it is a personal loan or somewhere where there is a house. Even if it's a car or a two-wheeler, because you don't recover the entire value, you end up making a loss on that loan. So there is in this entire, gamut of recovery features that we have in our platform, which again brings all the stakeholders together, the customer, the agencies, legal agencies, the bank, and the entire hierarchy of the bank. It's to settle an account is a complex process. Because again, there are norms, I can't just settle anything. If you've given you 100 rupees and if I'm writing off 20, it has to be, because there can be favoritism, there can be a lot of things that happen. I give you a loan and I write it off, right? I am your friend, I'm working in the bank. So there are processes, bank hierarchies that need to approve based on the value and the percentage that you are waiving off. So this all is covered in the platform. We want to make it as convenient that if you are in stress and you want to settle, you just go to a bank portal or you get a link through our digital platform. You just say how much amount you want to settle. And if it is within the bank norms, you will get a auto approval. You pay the amount and finish it. You don't even need to interact. All your letters, your due diligence, your NOCs will all be available on the fly digitally. So this is the level we want to go. Coming to the legal part of it, if it doesn't get resolved that way, the bank simply has no choice. Nobody goes legal for 100 rupees. Let me be telling you, because the cost, our cost would be much higher than, forget the legal agency's cost, our cost of the platform may be higher for them to go legal. But we built a platform which allows you to cater to the various stages in the legal cycle. Again, there are dunning notices, there are loan recall notices, there are a lot of, again, well laid out processes are there, but it is purely manual in most of the banks that we have seen. And you have to track the post, you have to track this, then the customer will contend, I did not get the letter and all that. So we have kind of tried to attack this problem. We have elevated to attack this problem in two ways. One is to bring in technology and platform, which integrates the codes, the post, the bank, the customer. So everything is on one platform. Second part, you added legal services, right? So we have tied up our, built a ecosystem where our legal personnel help the bank to handle this entire process, okay, in a defined and a cost manner. See, the bank is always, there is a term that bankers use, loss and cost equilibrium, right? So the bank is always trying to weigh, should I go behind recovering this money or I write it off? Because the cost of recovering cannot be proportionately higher to the amount you are going to. It definitely cannot be higher, but it can't be a high percentage of what you are going to recover. So if you have to recover 100 rupees, maybe you can spend 20, but you can't spend 50 to recover 100, right? It's going to be a challenge, and you can't do that on a scale. So the banks are always looking at maintaining this, entire loss and cost equilibrium, and this is where we make it easier, more efficient, optimized. So we always give them an option that resolve early, keep the customer informed, give the chance for the customer if he wants to settle. Legal is the last thing you want to do. And as you said, our courts are full, right, with a lot of cases and all that. So it takes a huge amount of time. Having said that, there are good enough, taluka and all these district level courts which do settle. It doesn't take 20 years these days. And there is an arbitration process also for the consumers. It isn't restricted to the high value loans. Even a smaller customer, there is an arbitration process. There are RBI appointed arbitrators who arbitrate, and it's finally a settlement, but it's an arbitrated settlement.
Sure.
One way of settling is you cannot pay. You went to the bank and you said, boss, I want to settle. 100 रुपया है, आपका चार्जेस इतना है, इंटरेस्ट इतना है, just allow me to pay this much and get free of this. Okay. The second way, an arbitrator intervenes because the amount is not getting tallied. You want to pay 85, he wants to recover 100, right? So there has to be an arbitrator who says, no, okay, this makes sense. You are overcharging at this point. His situation is not such and all that. And that's the arbitration process. So you do have that for smaller ticket loans as well.
Absolute pleasure talking to you, Siddharth. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
15 years of great work and maybe many, many more years. And you be an important part of this revolution.
Sure. Thank you very much.